Hey everyone, Life Coach Krista here. I am so glad you're joining me today. How are you feeling? Are things aligning perfectly? Or does it feel like maybe you're stuck in a cycle of setbacks? Today, I want to talk to you about something that I see in so many of my clients, the belief that life should always be smooth, without bumps or setbacks. And the truth is, our lives are meant to not be perfect. I always say that life is about a 50-50 split between challenges and moments of ease. The balance is part of the human experience. We need the contrast to grow, to appreciate the highs and the beauty of life. And when we can learn to accept the challenges that are part of our journey, life can become so much less stressful and a whole lot more joyful. Now, I know you're thinking, come on, Krissa, I just don't want to ever have to experience anything uncomfortable. I hear you, but this is what we are meant to experience, right? So if we are in resistance of that and not wanting to accept it, we are going to be in constant turmoil. We really need to embrace the 50-50 reality of life. I mean, think about it. When life, is going perfectly, we can become complacent. It's the challenges, the disruptions, and the unexpected hurdles that actually push us to grow. Instead of resisting these difficult moments, what if we accepted them as part of the deal? Truly accept them. If we shift our mindset from wanting to avoid discomfort to learning from it, our entire experience of life can truly transform. Now, it is not easy, but it is worth it. When we hold so tightly to the idea that life should always go according to plan, we create additional suffering for ourselves. It's like the difference between the pain of a difficult situation and the suffering we add on top of it by resisting or wishing things were different. So that's why today I want to share 3 top tips of mine for living a more joyful life. I could probably have 20 tips, but I'm going to pick the top 3 that come to my mind um, right off the bat. And I want to share these with you so that you can experience more peace and less emotional turbulence, right? I would describe my former life was a lot of emotional turbulence, and I don't have that anymore. And that's the gift that I want to give to all of you. So, tip number 1 is to remain mindful. I know I talk about this all the time, but let's start with mindfulness. I know you've probably heard it before, but bear with me because mindfulness truly is a game changer when it comes to finding joy. Mindfulness is simply the practice of being fully present in the moment. When we're mindful, we're not living in the past, replaying old mistakes or grievances. We're also not jumping into the future, worrying about what could happen. We are here and now. Okay, so why is this so important? Because joy exists in the present moment. Have you ever noticed when you're fully immersed in something you love, whether it's reading a book, spending a time with a loved one, or even just taking a walk, you'll feel this deep sense of contentment? That's mindfulness in action. The other day I was walking and a red bird flew right in front of me. And normally my head was always down. I'm into my podcast or my music and I'm not paying attention to the world around me. And I am so much more in the moment now. I see everything happening around me. I notice the little things, right? That is mindfulness. So, to practice some mindfulness tips, you can get in the habit of pausing and breathing. When you feel less stress rising, or when you feel the stress rising, I want you to take a few deep breaths. This simple act will help you reset your focus back to the present moment and lessen that stress within your mind and body. The next thing is focus on your senses. What you can you hear, smell, or feel right in this moment. Like engaging all your senses pulls you out of your mind and into the present. Sometimes when I'm on my walks, I will purposely focus on one sense. I'm going to listen to the crickets chirping in the background, and then I'm going to look at the clouds in the sky. I start one by one, just focusing on my different senses. It's really fun to do. And then have like a non-judgmental awareness. Like observe your thoughts, those sentences in your mind, without attaching judgment to them. This can really create space between you and any negative thoughts that you have coming up, which will then creep in this negative emotion. All right. So a very non-judgmental awareness about what's going in your head. Just notice it. Notice them coming in. Notice how they're making you feel. Because when we can remain mindful, we will become more attuned to the joy that already exists around us, even when we are doing the most mundane or challenging things in our life. Tip 2 is don't get tied to outcomes. This one was a hard one for me. One of the biggest sources of stress and frustration in life comes from our attachment to specific outcomes. We set expectations about how things should go. And when in reality, when our reality doesn't align with those expectations, we feel very disappointed, upset, or even defeated. But like, what if we loosened our grip on these expectations? What if we embraced the process rather than the outcome? This doesn't mean that we don't have to set goals and have dreams. It just means that we release the need for things to happen exactly as we envision them. Because life rarely goes according to plan, and that's okay. Sometimes the detours even lead us to even better places, right? The key is to remain flexible and open to whatever life is going to bring. So, a great question to ask yourself is, am I focusing on what I can control or obsessing over what's out of my hands? If the answer is the latter, it's time to shift your focus. Accepting that we cannot control every outcome will free us from the unnecessary stress and open the door for more joy and spontaneity. I know my mind wants to do this all the time. I have an outcome in mind for everything that's happening, and I have to catch myself. Wait a minute. This is like your story in your brain, your outcome that you've created. Let's just let this unfold, right? I think what's underneath a lot of that is knowing that you can have the trust in yourself that when things do start to go in the wrong direction or difficult, like you have the skills and the awareness to rise to the occasion in that moment. So I think that's a little bit of the underlying trust that we have to have in ourselves that can make this a little bit easier of a journey. Tip 3, enjoy the small moments. This tip is really often overlooked in our fast-paced, goal-oriented culture, but it's crucial because joy doesn't only come from big events. More often than not, joy comes in from the small, seemingly insignificant moments, right? Maybe it's your warm cup of coffee in the morning, or it's the laughter you share with a friend or a family member, or maybe it's even the quiet moments of reflection that you have just before bed. I know I appreciate that moment in my life. Why are these small moments so powerful? It's because they're accessible to us every day. We don't have to wait for the next vacation or the promotion or big experience of joy. It's here. It's already in the tiny moments that we often overlook. Laughter is a huge one for me. I love to just start laughing with my daughter. And I'm telling you, when I'm in laughter, I really am in the moment. So I challenge you to start celebrating these small moments, right? Make a habit to recognize and appreciate them as they happen. This practice alone can significantly shift your emotional experience and bring more joy into your everyday life. So, a simple exercise at the end of each day, reflect on one small moment of joy. It could be something as simple as the way the sunlight came in through your window, or a kind word that someone said to you, or a smile that someone gave you, a stranger out in the crowd. As you focus on these moments, you'll start to notice more and more of them, which will reinforce a mindset of gratitude and joy. All right, everyone. Those are my top 3 tips for creating a more joyful life. Like I said, I could probably come up with at least 20, but these are just 3 of the first things that come to my mind that has really helped me maintain and create a more joyful experience that I'm having here on this earth, right? And so I want you to remain mindful. Don't get tied to the outcomes and try to enjoy the small moments. When you begin practicing these tips, you'll start to notice a shift in your overall happiness and peace of mind. I've said this before. I've been able to do this. I've been able to guide other clients to do this, and I know you can do this too. Okay. Just take small little baby steps, one little step at a time, and you can start to notice a shift in your experience. All right. I hope that these tips resonate with you, and I encourage you to try them out in your own life. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me grow my channel. And don't forget to subscribe, because then you'll know as soon as I push out new content on my channel. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, I would love to chat with you about how I can help you find more joy and peace. I have a 12-week transformation program, and you can sign up for a complimentary session at lifecoachingwithcarissa.com. All right, everyone, have a beautiful day, and thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple weeks.